Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're kind of doing a sit down. We haven't done one of these in a really long time. And yes, my welding table in front of us is quite messy. That's kind of a good representation of what's going on with the channel, the projects and all that. So today we're just gonna do a sit down, kind of do a current state of everything and explain a couple things coming up. And then we'll go into why we have some upcoming gaps. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and get started. Right now, I actually don't even have the Silverado. The Silverado's at the dealership for the recall. I'll have the recall number down below, but basically they're doing the scan on the L87 engine to see if it's any good. My understanding of it is they basically hook up a knock sensor to the motor, run it through, they run it through a test cycle, take that data file, run it through a computer, and then the computer basically says pass or fail. So we dropped the car off on Wednesday. Today is Saturday. I have not heard back. Last time I heard, they were still waiting on a couple parts, and yeah, so haven't heard one way or the other. So right now, I don't even know if we're gonna have a good motor coming back with the truck, because right now, if that test does not pass, if it fails, they do not give you your truck back. You have to find another way home, or get a long-term rental, or get a loaner. I guess it just kind of depends which dealership you're at. So right now, I haven't heard anything. You guys will see that in probably the next video, or maybe I do have a Corvette video to do. Somewhere you'll see that update real soon. Long-term for the Corvette, I'm not sure if you guys can see behind us, but it is all torn apart. We have started part one of the 2011 wire harness, the Haltech install, and everything that's going to be needed to do that. I mean, heck, that's why you guys are seeing an alternator here, seeing back of an alternator, so we've got some wiring stuff to do there. So long term for that project, I think we're going to break that up into 3 videos. I've just about wrapped up the first video. That's going to be the engine bay. The second video will pretty much be the interior, so taking out the dash, the seats, everything we need to do with the interior harness swap. Then the third video will basically be transmission, fuel tank, anything in the back. So we're going to have to change some wiring out in the back there, because that's different as well. So basically 3 parts: engine harness, interior harness, and then kind of what's left. That'll be a 3-part series. And I'll be honest, guys, I have 6 weeks into the first video alone, so those videos will not be back to back to back, just because it takes so long to do that. The next project we're going to be talking about is the LT4. That is at the machine shop. It was almost done. Ken was on the final assembly. He had put the pistons and everything in. And basically what we're waiting on now are the piston oil squirters. The larger rods from Molnar basically hit the stock LT4. He tried to take the factory squirters and kind of reposition them, but just in manipulating them, it was basically going to squirt the side of the piston and not up and underneath where it needs to. So it's probably been 4 or 5 weeks. But we ordered a set of piston oil squirters, aftermarket ones from K-Tech. They said 12 weeks. I don't know how long that's actually going to be, but they said 12 weeks. And we are going to put those in the truck because, it's not a drag car. It's meant for hauling, it's meant for towing, and it's meant for driving. And those piston oil squirters help keep the, bottom of the piston cool. And the Escalade V's do come with them stock. So it's kind of the train of thought there is, we will go ahead and get those ordered. Now there might be some machine work he has to do. We're just not sure yet. So that was 12 weeks on back order, and we probably ordered those 5 or 6 weeks ago. So, that's kind of the updates on that. So when we get that LT4 back, I can go ahead and assemble some of the parts. We've got cylinder heads, we've got the cam, we've got some stuff we could put in, but I can't finish the motor. So I don't know, do we leave it apart and then just, when we get the last of the parts, put it together? There's kind of 2 things holding that up. One is the Corvette. That's kind of be my main focus for the next little while. So that's the first thing. Second thing is depending on results of the truck engine test, you know, the recall that they're doing right now, if the engine ends up being fine, you know, then this is kind of a back burner. We don't need to do it. And then the last thing is cost. The last things that we need to buy, so high pressure fuel pump, the springs, a bunch of other things, each one of those items is like $1,000, and that's pretty expensive, guys. So my focus is not on that. My focus is to get the Corvette back up and running. So you know, it's kind of why we've got a contributing factor along the list of why we don't want to finish that. So if we have to, we'll just get it back, we'll wrap it, and we'll just put it into long-term storage until I pick up some of those last parts. Now, the next thing is going to be the 427. Ken also has my 427, the 5.3 liter LC9 block. Now, I've given Ken a pretty large deposit to go ahead and start the work on that. So I think right now he's soaking the engine. It's going to take like 3 or 4 weeks for it to get cleaned up, because the inside of that block was kind of nasty. It's basically sitting in a tub with chemicals in it to clean it. He's going to order the pistons, the rods, the crank, as well as the sleeves. So he's basically not going to be able to start on that until December, and we should have all the parts in stock hopefully before he starts it. And you know, so when he is ready to start on that, he'll be able to get on that. So I mean, it's almost September now. That's 3 months from now, and yeah. So again, long gap. But in the meantime, going back to the Corvette, you know, I had 6 weeks on the first project, the engine bay. We could probably do the 6 weeks on the interior and then 6 weeks on the underside, the back of the car, and that should probably line up to where I'll be final assembly all these projects and we'll be ready for the engine. That's kind of how I'm hoping this all comes together. So the next discussion point is going to be a gap in videos. I kind of mentioned it. You've heard me talk about the 3 or 4 previous topics, and they all had time. Time is being a factor in these. So I just finished the first part of this Corvette upgrade, rebuild, rewire, whatever we want to call that, and that took me 6 weeks. The diagnosing the Corvette before that, I think that might have been 2 videos before that, that took me like 8 weeks to film. So I'm in these multi-month, multi-week videos, and unfortunately I don't have a lot of in between, because a lot of stuff is, you know, just leads to time. Haven't had a lot of it because we've been focusing on, you know, Corvette, motors, stuff like that. And yeah, so there's gonna be a gap in videos. So at some point we're gonna run out of weekly videos, and you know, so I want you guys to be aware of that now. Just looking at it, it's like I've got maybe 3 or 4 weeks of videos, and then we're gonna start hitting those time gaps, because you know, it's just the way things are. So there will be a gap in videos. I just want everyone on the channel to be aware of that. So if you guys notice there's not a weekly upload, that's why. It's simply because of time and waiting on things. And kind of related to that gap, but our last topic for today is going to be a lack of progress. I actually have 4 videos in progress right now that I'm basically stuck waiting on parts. I've had to custom order some stuff. I had, you know, teamed up with people to help work with, and you know, basically we're waiting on them. I sent out some steering wheel controls. I want to say that was 2 months ago. They said it was going to take 6 weeks. I need to follow up with that guy to, you know, see if he's finished. Because basically we're going to get the C6 steering wheel controls on both sides wrapped in carbon fiber. So, you know, it's just stuff like that. So I've got 4 of those videos in progress that we're waiting on stuff. So, yeah, so not a terrible state of everything, but you know, everything's just going to take time, take money, and just stuff like that. And yeah, so we're basically going to have a pause. I don't know when it's going to hit. And speaking of the weekly videos, you know, I think we've had a weekly video up every week for the last 4 years. So it's 52 times 4. That's over 200 videos. And that's kind of crazy to think about, and I think we've only missed those videos once or twice in the last 4 years. Or, you know, instead of releasing on Wednesday, I released it on Thursday or Friday. I think we've done that a couple times as well. So yeah, that's kind of a current state of everything. You know, it's kind of a mess, but it's kind of an organized mess. I do need to clean the shop up. We've got a lot of stuff to clean up, but yeah, so just wanted to give you guys an update on upcoming projects. A lot of Corvette stuff, some truck stuff, a lot of motor stuff. So we've got an LT4, We've got the LS2 to tear down. We've got the LC9 whenever we're going to get that back, and then the 2650, the Haltech. Our last topic today will be the Haltech plug-and-play ECU kit. I have been in communication with Sean. Tuned by Sean's the guy who's going to make it. I have not reached out to him recently, but I told him what I wanted. I told him that I wanted flex fuel, the coolant pressure temp sensor for the cylinder head. I wanted fuel pressure sensor, as well as to be able to control 2 fuel pumps. I've been following him on Instagram. I just saw a post just from a couple weeks ago. 2 things. One was actually a revision. I think some of these cars have issues with the reverse lockout on the T56, the TR6060. So he's revised the kit with an additional relay to make sure that that reverse lockout is energized, or however that works out. So that's one revision. And then the second thing I saw was he actually had a guy with the fuel pressure sensor, the E85, and the coolant pressure sensor. So that's 3 out of the 5 things that we need to add. And really the only 2 things we need to do is basically control our external fuel pumps, the twin pump kit from Holley. And we can just control that with a ground, because right now it's controlled with 2 Hobbs switches. Those Hobbs switches send a ground to the MSD relay. Then the MSD relay pulls the power from the alternator stud, actually right here, and then it provides power and turns on the external fuel pumps. So I think adding a ground, 1 or 2 of those should not be a big issue for controlling the fuel pump, since we don't have to send power to it. We're just grounding out the control signal. So that's kind of another reason why I want the Haltech, is to simplify our wiring. We've already eliminated something up front. We'll talk about that in that video. But if we can eliminate a couple other things, mechanical Hobbs switches being what we're talking about, that'd be awesome. I'd like that to be controlled by the ECU and not some external system. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna be about it for today's update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you guys want to follow along with this crazy build series on the Corvette engine, the Corvette rewiring upgrades, the Haltech install, all that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications. If you guys want to help support the channel, check out all the links down below. Also check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. We actually have a ton of C6 parts on the used parts section, because we've taken some parts off the Corvette already, and that has all been thrown up on eBay, and you guys can check that through the website. So that's be it. Thanks guys. Have a great one.